the story of a man who had nothing. Enjoy the listening. 10 years ago, my morning didn't start with coffee. It started with fear. Fear of a call from the bank. Fear of the landlord. And that specific shame when you discreetly put items back from your cart at the supermarket because there isn't enough money on your card. I worked 3 jobs. During the day, I was a promising office employee. In the evening, a courier, and at night, I tried to work on my own project on an old laptop that overheated every half hour. I remember that winter. My only pair of shoes tore, and I patched them from the inside with reinforced tape so my feet wouldn't get wet. At that moment, I realized the main thing. Poverty isn't the absence of money. It's a state of constant defense. You don't live, you fend off problems. And to win, I had to stop defending and start attacking. Harsh trials usually don't come one at a time. When my project was almost ready to launch, I was laid off from my main job. That same week, the landlord told me I had 3 days to move out. I stood at the bus stop in the rain, holding a box with my things, and I had 2 paths: give up or use that despair as fuel. An important lesson: when you have nothing to lose, you become the most dangerous person in the room. Your fear disappears because the worst has already happened. I moved into a hostel where there were 8 other people in the room. At night, under the snoring of my roommates, I finished writing the code for my service. I learned to ignore discomfort. Hunger became my alarm clock, and anger became my engine. I spent my childhood in an orphanage where I had no friends. When you grow up knowing there's no one behind you, no parents to bail you out with money, no family home to return to, and wait out the rain, you learn to run faster than others simply to survive. So, when I was kicked out of my apartment with just 1 box of belongings, I didn't feel shock. I felt the familiar, cold calm from my childhood. Back to zero, I thought. My favorite starting position. 5 years in shadow mode. After moving into a hostel, the hardest phase began. I call it shadow mode. It's when you shut down all human needs except the basic ones and become a machine for achieving a goal. In the hostel, I lived on the bare minimum. I calculated that I needed $4 a day for food. Everything else I earned as a courier and freelancer, I saved. I didn't buy clothes, didn't go to the movies, didn't drink coffee outside. In 6 months, I saved my first $3,000. For some, that's the price of an old car. For an orphanage graduate, it was my first ticket into the real game. I didn't invest that money in stocks or cryptocurrency. I invested it in inventory. I spotted a niche in warehouse security systems that was too expensive for small businesses. I found a manufacturer, negotiated a minimum order, and started cold calling owners of small storage facilities myself. I remember going to meetings in my only clean suit, which I kept in a bag so it wouldn't get wrinkled in the hostel. I would change in the bathroom of the nearest shopping mall, walk out as a successful manager, sell a system, then change back into my hoodie and go deliver pizzas. For some, that's the price of an old car. For an orphanage graduate, it was my first ticket into the real game. I didn't invest that money in stocks or cryptocurrency. I invested it in inventory. I spotted a niche in warehouse security systems that was too expensive for small businesses. I found a manufacturer, negotiated a minimum order, and started cold calling owners of small storage facilities myself. I remember going to meetings in my only clean suit, which I kept in a bag so it wouldn't get wrinkled in the hostel. I would change in the bathroom of the nearest shopping mall, walk out as a successful manager, sell a system, then change back into my hoodie and go deliver pizzas. A year later, I wasn't selling anymore myself. I had 2 student salespeople working on commission. We rented a tiny basement office, no windows, but with internet. My secret was simple. I wasn't afraid to work with those that big companies turned down. I knew the psychology of survival, so I could negotiate with anyone. From a security guard at a construction site to a factory director. When my turnover passed the first $100,000 a year, I realized what my advantage was over competitors who grew up in warm families. They were afraid of losing what they had. They were cautious. And me? I remembered the smell of bleach in the orphanage hallways and the taste of porridge made with just water. It was impossible to scare me with a crisis or losses. If I lost everything, I would simply return to where I'd already been. If they lost everything, for them, it was the end of the world. This lack of fear allowed me to make decisions instantly. When the market crashed during another crisis, everyone closed up shop, and I bought up their equipment for a pittance. I expanded when others were hiding. Real wealth came when I stopped selling things and started selling solutions. My company transformed into a logistics IT platform. I remembered that old laptop that overheated in the hostel and used the groundwork from those years. When I bought my first apartment, a big, bright one with panoramic windows, I couldn't sleep the first night. I just sat on the floor in the empty living room and looked at the city lights. I had no furniture, but I had what every boy from an orphanage dreams of: safety. Now I invest in educational programs for people like me. I don't give them money, I give them tools. Because wealth isn't an inheritance. It's the muscles you build, lifting heavy challenges day after day. Thanks for listening. Please subscribe to my channel. This will allow me to promote my content further. Thank you.